Okay. Hello, everyone. Today is Saturday, May the 5th. No, May the 6th. And we are continuing in our study of angels. And, the subject that we're going to just kind of briefly talk about is, the difference between angels and demons and which ones are classified as demons throughout other cultures and other religions, what are angels classified in other cultures and other religions, and and some other ideas and thoughts just to kind of think about. So would anyone like to start us off in prayer? Okay, I will. Let's just sit back and become comfortable, centering ourselves in wholeness and in peace. And we recognize that there is only one source of all glory, all goodness, all love, all strength, all peace and mercy. That one source is poured into each and every one of us, and not only us as humans, but each and every living thing, the plants, the trees, the ground that we walk on, everything that is alive, an aspect of source is in it, presenting itself as it is. And as we are aware of these things and we allow ourselves to actively and productively merge with wholeness and source, we look at the vibration today of what is called angels and how we can associate our thoughts into those higher realms of consciousness to be held high on an angelic realm. And as we hold our thoughts into this consciousness that we are one with all forms of energy, with all forms of frequency, with all forms of light, with all forms of love. We are so grateful for this knowledge. We are so grateful for this opportunity in this life to live it as the best that we can. To always, each and every moment of each and every day, to be better and more like source. And this is the thing that we release into our energy field. We release the ideas that we are filled with source. We overflow with the source. And because we are always saturated, we are always overflowing, we are always refilling, we know that we are a part of this piece, this placement of this universe to make it stable, to keep it in its orbit. We are all the part of this galaxy and of this creation and in this cosmos. And as we allow the energy to reach out into the echoing sounds of all of the universes, we say, and so it is. Okay. So today, of course, I think, a couple of weeks ago, about a month or so ago, I got this book just so that I can do some study on angels. Because like I said, there was a time when I was really into trying to, understand the angelic realm. And, like anything else, I did it for a while and I don't know, something happened and then my attention turned to something else and, all of my angel books are on the shelf. So I'm glad that, I'm having this opportunity to come back and revisit some of the ideas and that I had learned before. But one of the things that I had really not paid that much attention to were demons, because, demons are scary. You, demons are this You know, if you know, we know all of the folklore. We've seen the movies.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
right.
you look in the mirror, you say a demon's names 3 times, then you stuck with this. You know, he's haunting your house, he's riding with you in your car, you know.
Get out of here.
Right. So that was something that I stayed away from. So while in the course of this study, I picked up this book called The Encyclopedia of Demons in World Religions and Cultures. And I'm really finding out, you know, in many cultures, demons are protectors. They're not bad guys. Um, they are protectors at all costs. So that cost might be that, you know, whoever they
That's
are
what makes them scary.
yeah, that's the thing that makes them scary, because you got a whole bunch of demons protecting you, and they are protecting you at all costs, and it's fun for them. You know,
Mhm.
they enjoy torment. But they
So what you're saying is, when we look on demons, we should look on demons the same way we should be looking at witches, because there are good witches and there are bad witches. But over time, witches, when we talk about witches, they have gotten a bad rap.
yeah,
And demons have gotten a bad rap.
Well,
yeah.
well, once again, I think it's kind of like you were saying, Penelope, that it depends on the culture and how you look upon what a demon is. You know, you know, just because something is physically unattractive or scary to us, in our eyes can make us perceive that it is evil, when it can be something that it is, you know, just something that's misunderstood. So it depends on, I think with you speaking of this book, I'm interested in to see where this book goes, because I want to see how they break down cultures and what they would call positive and negative in different cultures, comparing it to what we know as Western civilization.
Well, the book itself is really just an encyclopedia. It really
Mm-hmm.
just has all the different names of demons and but places where they come from. So it really doesn't break them down into different cultures. You just have to know which demon you're dealing with, and then it will tell you which culture it's coming from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they are, you know, they do have some things that, you know, from like, you know, they do have one that's called African devils, but then they have different African um uh like, they're really basically gods, because the African devils, they are more more of a nuisance than anything else. They are not there, they're not there to scare you, to hurt you, to harm you. You know, you know, they'll trip you up, they'll do things like that, they'll, you know, give you a sickness or something. You know, they come down and, you know, mess with your crops, you know, but they're not out to drag you into the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So Anansi in African folktale is one of those demons, because he's like a trickster. He's a
yeah.
spider. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, but he's one of those tricksters, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's basically what they are, but they're not really considered anything like demons are considered as fallen angels. These what they would call demons are called gods. All of them are just gods. And I think that that's kind of interesting. And then another aspect that I did see in this book is that some of the like the earlier excuse me, what you call it, religions, like I can't even read, like some of the
You mean
the ancient ones
pre-Christianity?
from, you know, like the all ancient from Bildagesh and all of those places.
Gilgamesh
Yeah,
from Persia, Gilgamesh, and yeah.
right, from Persia. all of those old, what you would call demons, are also gods. Yeah, and those gods can be varied from evil to good, you know, but we would still, because of our societies, the Western civilization, we consider anything that we classify as evil as a demon or some type of devil, or
Yeah.
but we can't see them having different emotions. Where, you know, if you're the devil, you're always evil. And with these guys, they still had the option to do something lovely, loving, kind, as much as they could do something hurtful or spiteful or evil. Oh, wow. You know, so so they weren't like pinned in a corner, like, you know, all the, like in most of our Western civilization, our Christian literature, you know, the angels fell, became demons, and either, you know, they have escaped from hell or they're causing hell on earth, but they can never get out of being evil. Everything has to do, even if they're doing something good, it has an evil purpose in the background. Whereas, you know, a lot of these, what you call religions, that's not how they saw demons at all. Another thing that I thought was interesting in here is when we think about some of the things that we have, how we have combined, like our taking gods from other religions and have turned them into, say, Christianity, so that we could, it makes it easier to bring in a, like, what do you call it, a beaten
Transition.
civilization.
Yeah,
And
neutral transit, the transition of civilization.
Transition from their religion to this religion, and, you know, we'll give you one of our gods, but your God is really actually, you know, this God. One of them was called Dagon, and I just remember Dagon from one of those Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Yeah.
From what?
One of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I can't even remember which one it was. But anyway, Dagon is considered, he was a fish god. Where is it? Here it is right here. He was a fish god. So when the logo symbol, when we see the logo symbol in Christianity, it is actually
a fish,
the god Dagon. That they have, that, you know, that they melded from one, from that ancient civilization. Let me see which one it says.
Dagon is
okay,
Persian.
Dagon was fish, was originally a Philistine or Semitic god of grain and agriculture.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that is kind of the thing of where you're speaking from, metaphysically. Like, it seems that we conquered, and everything that we conquered was either, and I want to say conquered not just in a one point of view of civilization. When I'm saying this, it's history. It seems that history consumes itself sometimes. So at one point in time, it is almost eternal in a sense, because it never goes anywhere. You may go from being, you know, these stories may go from being the greatest stories of these people to all of a sudden these people being conquered, and then their gods are the lesser and they are forgotten of, or certain things are remembered to come back for another generation, for it to be, you know, for it to be reminded of these things. So it's kind of like history swallows itself. And
well,
then,
I was just gonna say, it's because, you know, there's only one energy. And when that energy is shifted to another perception, It's just explained in a different way. And we have, because we are so attached and to language, that we don't, and the language that we hear and what is explained and described to us, that's what we choose to believe. So we don't necessarily see it as a transference of energy. Is that, you know, this is the new thing that somebody said, this is the new thing now. It looks like the old thing, but now it's the new thing. And by the next time these 2 or 3 generations go down, now the new thing is now the old thing. And we are, and we have, you know, it's the same energy, but our perceptions have become cemented in another casing. And I think the energy always shifts and moves and changes. But that shut everybody up. So that was
No, I mean
that was
because
too
I
far
really-
away.
No,
that
we're
was
thinking
deep.
about
It was deep. It was deep because it's like
Yeah.
I'm really looking at it from that point of view, and I want to ask a question. Is it that we abandon these things? Because is it that we abandon our own history for something else? And what I mean by that is we know if you go to Romania, you go to England, you go to Turkey, you go to any of the where the not mega churches, I'm talking about the castle churches are of the world. You know, they still have gargoyles on their terraces. You can walk in the church and you got Jesus right next, you got God and Jesus right next to a demon, but you know, you have Azrael in a church. These things are not things that have been taught to a certain sect of people. And so is it because of that control? Is it that trickster? Is it that knowledge is given that way? I mean, maybe I didn't took your question a little deeper than mine. But is it that? I mean, you have that trickster.
I do think so. I think that, you know, people who want to be in power in itself has to be some type of energy.
Exactly.
Because it always consumes, you know, you know, so because go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say, it all depends on how that person in power or who desires power, how charismatic they are, and how well they are able to get their convincing they are in getting their message across. Because, I mean, take that little guy Hitler. I mean, he was basically a nobody, but he had a way of speaking that, and perhaps the society at the time, because I'm not that up on my European history, but he knew how to control the language and the people. And of course, my understanding is they were going through an economic hard time at the time, and he knew exactly how to push the right buttons to get everybody to follow him, like the Pied Piper.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that wasn't that. I mean, that you're completely right on that, and that's the thing about it. Mainly, that was a face. Mainly, Hitler was the face of what was already going on. You know, so it's a little bit more to that. Yes, he gave us the but it was the media who fed into this little man. Like you said, it wasn't. It was the media that fed into this man. It
telling the
wasn't the
media what to
people.
do.
So therefore,
But when we think about it from perspectives of good and evil, and that's one of the things that I did want to ask those questions about today. What are our thoughts on good and evil? We place evil on somebody, and we say, because Nazism is alive and well in this world. It's very much alive and well in this world. Is that evil or is it good? So what are our thoughts on good and evil? Where do they come from, and is there a purpose for them?
I'll go first. I take good and evil as I'll start with evil. I take evil as if you enjoy to prey upon, and you know that you are praying, and you know that you are preying upon people or a certain person or a certain sect of anything on the earth. You are doing evil. When you set out to intentionally harm, that is a miscreation. When you really set out like, I'm going to go do this to this person. And we've all been there. We've all been in a fight in our lives. We've all had an argument. We've all cursed somebody out and felt like, yeah, I've been waiting to do that. I ain't like that person anyway. We've all been there, but the point about it is, if you enjoy it, if that's what you do on your daily basis, you look for that, for you to show the power that you have by dominating people, then you are using a certain power wrongly. So power corrupts. Absolute power absolutely corrupts. So that can make it evil. When you become arrogant, when you become selfish, when you can take over the minds of people and say, follow me out of fear, and then pretend that I'm protecting you. Yeah, that is arrogant. That is evil. Now, accidents do happen. Accidents do happen out of doing goodness too. Things happen. You can't stop it you can't stop the wheel from turning. Good and bad comes from either way. And no matter what, somebody's gonna feel left out. Whether it's an evil deed or a good deed, somebody's gonna feel left out. So it's just about how you choose to identify yourself as an individual right then and there. I don't think a lot of these people thought that they were doing. I believe a lot of these people thought that they were right. A lot of these people.
For you, it's intent.
But their intent was. Your intent is completely different. Right from wrong. Like I said, we've all been in a fight. We've all lost a fight.
And we've wanted revenge.
We all know how it feels to want revenge. We've all stepped on a bug and been like, dang, I shouldn't have did that. Then you got the bugs that you like, yeah, I'm gonna step on you. You enjoy them, but you just like, a bug won't even bother me. And you just accidentally oh man, you know what? I won't even think, and that bug won't even bother me. So it's the big and the small things. It's if you can see yourself as a person that can be that big, to have that power and not misuse it. And power corrupts.
So what about you, Harriet? What do you think? So Andre gave us an explanation of evil. So you tell me about good. What you feel good is?
To feel good is to feel comfortable, feel safe, to feel loved, all of those positive feelings, so to speak. And anytime you do anything and it comes from the heart, to me, that's doing good. And I know there was a time when I would and I'm talking personal experience now, or personal, from personal experience. There was a time when I know I should do something, but because I was angry with the person, I didn't go out of my way to do what I needed to do, or what I should have, what I know was the right thing to do, because I wanted to get back at that person. But then afterwards, after I got over those hurt feelings, or those feeling, then I feel guilty because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So anything that makes you feel warm and fuzzy, for lack of a better description, to me, that's good. You're on mute.
I'm muted. I'm muted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that in all of the cultures, from what I can see,
Mhm.
everyone sees a dynamic between good and evil. I think that all cultures on this planet see the balance between good and evil, and that everybody always wants to tip toward good.
Mhm.
Even the ones who, like Andre was saying, have stake in the game of, looking for absolute power. They are still looking for good. It's just that how good is being filtered through each and through whatever that conversation is, whether it's in government, or an individual, like a dictator. It's all what goes through the conversation of that person's ego, and that's where all of this information comes from. It comes from our ego self, because generally people will, with the same types of egos, come together. You might have a couple of people in there that's different, but the majority of the people that are together are going to be of that same mindset.
Yeah, and those that are that are not of that same mindset, eventually they'll drift away.
Or become part of that mindset.
Yeah.
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 Again, I think,
yeah.
And again, just to add in, I think also it brings us back to something that we always talk about. Well, we really study so much, and that's in the Course of Miracles, is the fear that people have.
Mhm.
People, when you have like-minded people who are afraid of the same thing, that can, I believe those actions right there, even though that they are afraid of the same thing, and they may have a right to be afraid of those things, but when it gets to that point where their fear has overclouded their judgment, then you get massacres. That's where you find evil. When fear overtakes something, or when greed overtakes something as well. So it's always that lack. And this one, you guys got me thinking on this one, because y'all got me thinking math, and I'm like, yeah, no matter however I look at it, it's always a remainder. Somebody gonna be left out, and somebody gonna be pissed off and start something. It never fails.
And and listening to you, Andre, and some of our other discussions, I am constantly seeing that evil as spreading especially in our society or in this country, like wildfire. And it stems from who was elected to the most powerful office in the world 6 years ago. And he came in with that attitude of my way or the highway. And the things that he said and the things that he bragged about that he could do, not good. And it is spreading. And the thing that really, I think about it, I'm not going to say I worry about it because I just feel like good will eventually overcome all of this evil. But when you look at the statistics and see how many mass shootings, and almost every other day, the headlines as far as the news is concerned is a mass shooting somewhere. And the last time I saw statistics, it was almost up to 2 a day that there were mass shootings taking place in this country. And why is that?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Because
and once again, can I say that is evil at work? No, those are evil actions.
yeah,
But is that a little man that's sitting up under my feet, up under my bed? Now, something might be up under my bed. Something might be up under my bed, but is there a little man with a pitchfork and you know what I'm saying, sitting there going, ha ha ha, I'm gonna poke you and make you do bad. I know right from wrong. You know, I know even to stay away from people, and I understand that there are some people who have it very hard out or don't have it that hard, but just are down because they don't have the spiritual wherewithal right now in them. Something has either pulled it away from them, or people that they are around are not encouraging them, or they don't see themselves. I mean, it's so many things that we can get lost in this world, you know, and forget ourselves, and we do it a lot. So I think it's a combination of so much going on, and then and once again, any animal on this earth, I say it all the time, I know we have a spirit, but yet and still we're on this dimension, we're in this vibration. You back anybody in the corner and you have a dangerous animal.
yes, you do.
mm-hmm.
I don't care what it is.
Yes,
I've
you
been in
do.
fights with flies before because I'm trying to smack flies, and they smack me upside my head. Like, he gonna fight back. Oh, you a brave fly. I've been in fights. You know, I've seen people get so scared to get in a fight that they punch people in the face and break the guy's ankle. And I'm like, how you punch somebody in the face and break an ankle? You're that scared. I've seen, you know, and we've all seen things, either whether we witnessed them in our own eyes or on the news, that we know that fear pumps
Mm-hmm.
that point of view, pumps that blood of anger, of envy, of hate.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're afraid, you will do right much anything. And then the only way you can get a lot of people, the only way they can get over that fear is if they can congregate with enough people who will go into the dark with them.
Mm-hmm.
We've all had that cousin that says, hey man, I gotta go to the bathroom, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, it's dark, and man, what you waking me up to go to the bathroom for? Man, I'm scared of the dark. We travel in numbers in the dark. So imagine if the sun is shining and you got 1,000 people who yet and still are scared to go outside in their own communities because they're scared that people are judging them because their communities have changed. Or they feel that their communities have changed instead of just getting to come outside and saying hello to people. People are afraid.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of the things when we look at that in angelic realm, and we not necessarily only see entities, but we see the energy of it. You know, is the energy loving or is the energy fearful? And what it is, especially nowadays when the whole world can catch your fear or the whole world can catch your love. and, you know, and all accounts to what is in the balance of their egos, are they able to, you know, transfer their fear into love, you know, and and are we allowing our love to, you know, be infected by the fear? And this is one of the things when we think about positive and negative, angels as good good angels on one shoulder and demon on the other, you know,
whispering in your ears,
whispering in our ear, or possessing us. You know, we can be caught up in a crowd and we can become all angry at the same time, because that's the foremost energy that is being energized at that moment, you know. So that's what, you know, that's what I would think that a possession is, more so than a, you know, a demonic spirit like we see on the movies, jumping into your body and making you twist your head around and spit at people, you know, and say horrible things and do horrible things to a body, you know. So when we begin to focus and pay attention to the energy that is surrounding us and the being around us, that also is from the angelic form. One of the other things about when we're thinking about angels, because like we say, you know, we're just talking about, you know, our kind of sense of righteousness here on this in America and in our Western civilization. But there are places that are ancient, like and Andre, get ready, buckle up.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Buckle up. Because now when we talk about, say, like the jinn can be and they're, you know, what we call genies, you know, one of the things that, you know, what they do is they become they are entrapped in a service mode. You know, they had, you know, most jinns have been either, from what I understand, angelic beings that through some type of, I don't know, trickster or fall or whatever, they have become trapped into an element of servitude. And they can also be good, you know, where, you know, they're just good genies, you know, can't wait till somebody rub the lamp and let them do 3 wishes. And there's some genies that are, you know, just purely evil and can't wait for somebody to rub the lamp.
Rub that lamp.
And I'm gonna give you your 3 wishes, but hey, they are not gonna be what you thought they're gonna be. And there are some that, you know, for whatever reason, they can decide however they want to be, but they are still in a place of
servitude.
And when we think on that energy itself, how can that energy be most productive to us? You know, because once we know about something, you know about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so if you are actively pursuing how to use power, let's say we are learning how to use power, you know, if we are, you know, going into a level of understanding, or a level of, you know, learning, or level of what, you know, trying to be a tutor, if we're going into something like that, you know, we want to really pay attention to what we are contributing, how we are contributing. Not saying, you know, we have to have, you know, thoughts of fear. But if you know something, you can use it. You can use what you know.
Mhm.
All of the, and you know, like all of our, most people, most of our, especially in and I can really only go back to, you know, my time of being a Catholic, when angels were really so very important to the religion. You really learned about angels as children. You know, you learned about these angels, so you would know that, you know, our angels are our servants, and we can call on our angels to do the work that we need them to do. But when we look at that and we're not seeing it in, say, a fantasized idea motion, like, you know, I don't know, a fantasy that you would see on television with little angels and come and help you do stuff. But when we use this energy to serve us righteously, or not righteously, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you can use that energy in any way, shape, or form that you choose.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, so when we are when we are because we are powerful beyond measure. Humans, we have so much spiritual awareness that is always available to us, and the opportunities are boundless. And if we actively search and begin to use these energies uh, properly, all of the things that we wish, desire, hope for can come into manifestation. You know, I know one time before we were talking about, we would just love one whole day, just where the whole world has been happy that day. Nobody got stabbed, nobody got hit by the car. Um, you know, just you know, everybody, you know, puppies and rainbows and unicorns all over the place. You know, um, it would be wonderful that, because we have energy that is available to us, that we can operate in, what's the word, in like congruence, you know, like a hinge of the door, you know, we operate
Yeah.
along with that energy.
Yeah, we can flow. It's like a pendulum. We'll sway.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll sway to wherever the energy, especially as a population. And I really
Mhm.
like what you were saying. I kind of did want to just real quick while you were speaking that, as far as the gin and things like that, very we know genies, like you said, as just rubbing the lamp and you get a good wish. We know, you know, oh, Mr. Aladdin, and the kings and the 12, but you know, there's so many different things that go along with that teaching. One thing that I learned, and I learned that in Philly, that you can actually marry a jinn.
Mhm.
Um, it depends on the type of religion, and you know, but these beings are what we would call, what we would actually call in our, what we know as far as our religion is, they're made of fire. Well, our angels that we know are made of, you know, our seraphim are made of fire,
Mhm. Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know. So the comparisons, because we're still dealing with what we call an Abrahamic religion, or what we know as the Abrahamic religion, that goes further back to where you also spoke of the, you know, the epic of Gilgamesh, um and you speak of Enki and Lil and the 12 gods from there, and it's still the same thing that you get from when you go to when you go to Egypt and you read the pyramids. They're still saying the same thing over and over again. So how come, as you know, a question is, if we know that we have this, and each and every society has it, whether it be, you know, black or white or Asian or you know, or anything, you know, we all know that we have these powers. It's all been written in stone somewhere.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
these things have been written in stone somewhere. Why
Mhm.
why aren't we teaching one another these things now instead of letting it continue to come out as ignorance, and then you get the fear. So why are the powers to be being evil?
And if we can recall, the different levels of the angels, and I had it written down somewhere, but I don't even know where it is from one of our notes. In my angel book is in the other room, but we have, like the 9th level of angels are the ones that just hang around with us. And then there's another, there's the 8th level. So it's like the 6th, the 7th, the 9th, the 8th, and the 7th angel layer levels of angels are the ones that really hang out with us. But they are not, they all they do is gather our energies and allow our energies to, I guess, it's almost like, become solid, but the kind of solid that you can walk through, so
I'm thinking the same way you're thinking. Like, is it that you get us a,
so our energies are creating the situations but they are not here. I guess they would be more like the watchers, because they are not to interfere with the with the events in history. So as we create these energies, and I guess it's because we go along with it. They teach it to us, we go along with it, and we don't change our perceptions or thinking. We just continue to go along with whatever this cloud this black cloud is that's saying, hey, this is what you think, this is what you believe, this is how you act, this is what you do. And fear does hold a big place with that. When you do hear about people who have kind of like broken through the mold, and everybody knows that everybody got, has a problem. Martin Luther King, loved women.
And he could cuss good too.
Cuss real good, love women. Gandhi, as peaceful as he was, he hated darkies.
He cannot stand us.
So just because we have a defect, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are defective. And we don't, us as humans, when we see a person that has more of its good parts, we automatically try to kill it, because we don't want that much light shine. Because if this much light shines with them, then maybe the power will shift, or will change the consciousness and minds of everybody else. And how will we stay and maintain control?
Yeah, is that what we're seeing? As a civilization of people, as a collective of human beings on this earth, are we seeing more of other people shine than we see ourselves shine, and that's the fear?
That's what I think. What about you, Harriet? What are your thoughts?
I'm not sure. Because, and I tend to I guess internalize or take some things or see things from a personal perspective, as opposed to looking at things globally. And although I'm getting there, learning how to look at things globally and try to understand where people are coming from. But like I said, I'm not sure.
Well, and that's all part of a thing, because once we have spoken something and we have said it, we do kind of bring it into manifestation. You know, there is, people recognize evil because we have talked about evil so much that it's recognizable. People recognize good because we have talked about good so much that it's recognizable. But it's the evil that we talk about and it's the good that we talk about that is recognizable. We haven't begun to see, like, probably real evil or even real good.
Yeah.
We see as much as as our awareness is allowed.
But and the reason I say I'm not sure is because when you look at something, whether it's me, whether it's you, Penelope, or you, Andre, when we look at things, we look at it from our own personal experience. And if whatever the situation might be, if it did not leave us with a warm, fuzzy feeling, we see it as evil. Penny might look at it and remember that it was not good and see it as evil. I may just take a neutral look at it. Okay. So, that kind of an attitude. But, and I think, and again, I'm looking at it from my own perspective, and I may not be correct in, making these assumptions, but I just feel like your personal experience will or how you see something, whether we see it as good or evil, all depends on our own personal experience, knowledge, and understanding of the situation.
And that's what choice is about.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's choice, but I mean, where we're saying, I think once again, we can only speak on something that you just had embarked on, Penelope, which was we may not even know what real bliss feel like, what real happiness feels like, or what real pain or evil feels like. We can only digest evil from what we know as pain, or what we know kind of hurts us, whether it hurts us physically because we've been through it as in a trauma, or we have seen it and it's so, and with us seeing it has hurt us enough to inform us to know that this is, for us to be able to say it out loud, that this is evil. I stand against this type of behavior. We can only speak of a behavior of evil. And what you were both saying, I've taken that, yeah, something can, as we say, as there's an upper and a lower level. There are
also below.
And dealing with those two places, and where you find yourself in that balance of those places, and how your energy is being shifted throughout what you're going through in a day, a week, a year, a month, 10 years, or however, is what's gonna keep your mode. I naturally believe that some people are just born sad and don't know why, or or born, just naturally fearful or depressed. There's there's some, I mean, I look at it from that point of view when it comes to certain things, not saying that those things cannot be overcome, but if you know nothing but hurt and pain, and you're gonna try to get away from it. I mean, from my point of view, if you know nothing but hurt and pain, you're gonna either adapt to it, or you're gonna get away from it as fast as possible. I don't see a lot of people going, well, I'm gonna stay in hurt and pain, you know, by choice. It's because this is all that I know.
Right.
So people usually adapt to the environment of what they are around. And I think that's what you are saying, as far as is the energy that people carry. So if you're being in this energy, that leaves that cloud, like you were talking, Pen, over a society, over a community, over a neighborhood, over a city. And it just gets darker and darker and darker as it goes on. And I think that's wherever you are in the world, as far as you were saying, Miss Harriet, as far as looking at it worldly, I think that goes on no matter where you are. Because there's one thing you can wake up, one thing you can guarantee: when you wake up in the morning, somebody's gonna offend you. You know,
If you let them.
yeah, whether you let them or not, somebody's going to offend you, and somebody's gonna kind of get under your skin where you're gonna be like, what the hell you say to me? It don't matter it don't matter really if you, that's not your responsibility to stop them from offending. That's their responsibility. Your responsibility is not to react off the offense.
To resist it.
Yeah. So, but that's one thing you can guarantee: you're gonna wake up and somebody gonna cut you off in traffic. Somebody gonna try to.
And when we look at how we deal with the balance of good and evil, and for good and evil, from my perspective, is whatever here is here on this third dimension, because this is a classroom, this is a school, so we're here to learn how to balance our egos and our identities throughout, I guess, each lifetime, how to become more and more of the light. And as we progress through it, making, either from choice to choice, or from lifetime to lifetime, we understand that it's that angelic realm, which is really and I'm not going to say that they are no such thing as angels, because I do believe that they are beings that are that can put themselves into that form of manifestation from that energy that is malleable in that system. They don't necessarily have to stay that way. I don't think. That's just my own personal opinion. But I do think that we can at times be seen or see a being in whatever form that it's supposed to be in. And I kind of wanted to, to talk about why let's talk about Satan for a minute, because he's kind of big. If anybody's ever been to a Baptist church, you know how important Satan is. But even in our religion now, in Christianity, of course, Satan is the epitome of evil. It's just all of it's just trapped, to try to just bring you into evilness and set you into hell, and I don't know, make us munchies for demons for centuries and centuries. Or I don't know what that whole idea of Dante's Inferno that we have chosen to believe as hell is. But as when we look at Satan through different ideas, like even with the Kabbalah, this is something that I had wanted us to look at earlier. Hopefully I can share it if I can find it. because Kabbalistically, Satan is really like an adversary, like a lawyer, like the prosecutor, you know. It's
He
his
just run
job
around.
not to, huh?
He just run around chasing behind ambulance.
Yeah, and actually, but actually what he's doing is to kind of like the trampoline. He is using every bait trap to bounce you higher, so that you so you know, if you stay mired in the fear,
Mhm.
that's, you know, you're gonna need that same amount of fear to get yourself out of it. So Satan is not, you know, is not that devil that is, you know, coming to, you know, to steal your soul. You know, Satan is and I want let me get this real quick. Satan and Kabbalah. Oh, there we go. See if I can pull this back up real quick. Um, Satan is really there to push us to that higher perspective, and it may look as if, you know, the adversary may look as if it's there to trap, kill, steal, and destroy, but Satan is in service too. Let's see. Let's look at that second paragraph. Well, I can start it from the beginning. It's pretty long, but if you ever get a chance, you can just take a look at this. Satan is real, but not the Satan that we imagine, a devil flying around with a pitchfork. That is not Satan. The little translation of Satan is the disturber, or in Hebrew, the adversary. Satan is a negative force that we all have within us. It is a tool created by the light to help us to grow, to overcome, to shine, and to become the unlimited soul that we are supposed to be in this world. One of the manifestations of that force called Satan is our ego, but it's not just the ego. Every desire that is of ourselves alone stems from that negative force. That code name for this selfish desire is Satan. So when we're looking at you know, the way that we have been taught here in the West, that, you know, where all of this fearfulness comes from, this idea of the devil and Satan and having something to do with evil. If we would begin to simply see that Satan is the force that force that's within us, that ego self that's within us, that drives us to be good. You know, the more we stay in it, the more we are trapped by it. You know, it's like I don't know if it that, and this probably is not PC anymore, but when I was little, they used to have these little Chinese finger puzzles. And it was
Mhm.
like this long tube, and you stuck your fingers in there, and then you had to try to figure out how to get your fingers out of there. And you would think that there's something that was so easy for your fingers to get into would be so difficult for your fingers to get out of. So, you know, and every time we wiggle ourselves deeper into our own trap, as opposed to using the trap itself to get ourselves out of. And that's what that whole idea of Satan is. So it's nothing that we should be afraid of. Even when we just speaking a few minutes ago of, you know, whole worldwide ideas of evil. If we stopped and saw that that evil is not evil, it's just that we're just trapped in, and all we have to do is love our way out of it. Because mama and daddy, I would just remember them just, you know, how they told me just to, you know, loosen my fingers up, you know, And as I loosen my fingers, just become more and more relaxed, it was easier for me to pull my fingers out. But the more I was worried and the more fearful I got, that now in my mind, how am I going to write my paper in the second grade? My fingers are stuck together like this. I'm never getting out of here. How am I going to be a good mom with my fingers? But I'm going to, for the rest of my life, because our minds run out of control in fear. So
Can you gonna make me act like Gomez Adams? How does he take it off? How does he take it off? That finger trap was a birthday. He learned how to eat with his feet.
Oh,
So that's just the thing, is that it's really all perception. It really is all perception. The world is perceiving things through that lens of fear, like you were talking about earlier, Andre. And we're going to operate through that lens of fear, because it's so many comforting things in that fear that we recognize. We still recognize what power looks like. We still love our money. We still want to, who doesn't want to have that big mansion on the hill, facing the riverfront, or facing, the ocean. It's all of these traps that we keep ourselves attached to, as opposed to living in a physicality that we might not be able to recognize.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's one of the things when you think about, and when we shift, that's why I think it's so important that we look at other people, other cultures, information. Because this doesn't have to be anybody's truth. Just because I'm saying it because I read it, this little half a line here, because this is, like I said, it's really interesting when we understand that we don't have to have fear, and that Satan, from a Jewish perspective, is not scary. Even when we look at Jesus on in the desert, Satan was just tempting him. He won't, there, trying to, burn some babies or drink baby's blood, or, chase Jesus down and, with an AR-15. He was just saying, how strong are you? How strong are you strong enough to stay on, to stay on course?
You thirsty? Man, I got some water for you. You thirsty?
I got some water for you, some bread. I'll tell you what, I will give you all the world.
I know you thinking about jumping. I know you thinking about jumping. Go ahead, jump, man. The angels gonna catch you. If they don't, he was hustling.
Yeah, but all of that just strengthened the Christ. But we have been taught this whole scary scene about Satan, is that how he gonna come and tempt us for 40 days, and and only Jesus could be the one who could pass that test, and it's so much
but
fear was pressed into our consciousness as opposed to victory.
yeah, but Jesus wasn't the, I was going to say Jesus wasn't the only one that was tempted like that. Think about Job. I mean, look at all he went through, all that he lost. And in the end, it all comes back to him twofold.
I mean, I think a lot of all the prophets were tested in that way. Some passed, some failed. They were all they were all still in the graces.
Yeah.
And the irony of the whole thing is, when we look at what they went through, hey, our life is a piece of cake.
Yeah. And because we have been taught that these were entities, that something outside of us that would trick and fool us. We're not looking at what was within.
within us that
Mhm.
Yeah.
that was already corrupted within us.
Yeah, that that this fear is already here. We just don't have to necessarily use it, or we don't have to, and we don't have to use it for a thing that it is especially not for, So it's just like this is one of the things that I think about often is that battery acid is really good for your car. But it's nothing that you would want to, give to your baby. It's not,
That's right.
it's not a nourishment for your baby. But so good in it, I mean, evil in its place is good. If we just let it be what it's supposed to be. And we don't have to, we don't have to attach ourselves to it, because I think it's only just there to balance. It's just there to balance, to keep the scales in balance. I do believe that good can balance up and down as much as it needs to, because good itself has a certain light to it. And if we allow the negative or the dark to just simply be the balance, because when we think about day and night, the dark in the night is just as important as the brightness of the day. The darkness of night allows us opportunity to rest. It gives us, gives the world, the land itself, a time to recalibrate and rebalance itself. It gives us an opportunity to enjoy deeper pleasures, that sometimes the daylight doesn't allow us in, doesn't always open ourselves up to, but it allows us to have that. So, but if we put everything into our consciousness of good, because I mean, even just going back to the Bible, going back to Genesis in the garden, Genesis chapter 2, God plants two trees in the garden of the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and say, hey, look, this tree over here, if you eat from it, you will surely die. This information, it might look good, but it's really not good for you. It's just here to keep things in balance. But every other tree in this garden you can have. So, but because of fear of lack, there came this this opportunity for us to delve into a lack consciousness as opposed to an abundance consciousness. And now that we're open to both, fear just runs rampant. It, just a chicken with a head cut off.
Well, like you just said, Pen, that's a good way that you just put that. When you said when you said that fear of lack, which is something that is very important, because, and especially where you were just speaking from the Bible, because that's basically, as you go along with the story, that's basically what went on with Abraham, with Cain and Abel.
Mm-hmm.
Abel worked hard. Cain kind of just took his time doing his thing, and then realized that, wait a minute, I'm not going to have crops. I have a fear of lack now, and I'm not going to be granted abundance. So that fear again brought that I'm going to take what you got. So I think, once again, like I was saying earlier, there's no one's ever going to be, it's always going to be one person that's unhappy at the party, and it's up to us to recognize that person that is unhappy, say, why are you unhappy? We all have enough. And if we can catch, and I think if we're using our spirituality in our energy the way that we are, and the way that we are trying to now and achieving, that we can start to recognize that and catch it before we see that person fall into that loneliness of self-doubt and say, I'm lacking, or I didn't get it, or or now I'm scared because I didn't get enough.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's where you are. I mean, great point, and I just wanted to tell you that was a beautiful point.
Yeah, and what and if we just look at this next sentence, it was another one that but when you get a chance, just go just Google this and no, I think was it that the one that I was just looking at? Is it this one? Yeah, I think so. Um the first step of true transformation and true growth is recognition of the opponent within. It is Satan's job to hide. The universal law in the game of life is to overcome the opponent within. You want a more ideal life? You want more blessings? What are you willing to overcome? What are you willing to stretch beyond in order to overcome that opponent within? Understanding that this is really the objective makes life easy, but Satan is so tricky. He convinces us that he is an outside force. And that is one of the biggest illusions of Satan. And I think that, this is something that we did kind of discuss, is that when we look outside and we see somebody else being evil, now we can recognize Satan. Oh yeah, that's evil right there. What was the, Chauvin put his knee on that man on
George Floyd.
George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes, killed him. We all watched that. That's evil, And if we're seeing it from the outside, it makes it easier for us to judge something else. And judgment always brings about some kind of fear. Is now, can all policemen, are they seeing that they can do this to us? That's fear. Are all are they so fearful? Are they so fearful that they got to kill us because they see us, with a $20 bill that somebody said is not real, that they get to kill us? Is that what their fear is? All of that is just fear. And we are so attached to that fear on the outside that we're not even paying attention to what our fears are on the inside. What's so scary? I mean, really, 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 truly, what is so scary? That a police officer who has authority and power and a gun, that he got it, that this is something that he is so afraid that this is something he has to do to defend himself. So if we are just living in that fear and we're not willing to look inside to transform that fear, to look inside to see what is this this thing that's causing me this much fear. Just thinking about going back to Adam and Eve at that tree, because Adam was there with Eve. It ain't like Adam was out there naming, sweating and toiling, naming some animals or something.
I like elephant.
Right. He was right there, watching the whole thing go down, because it's that feminine nature and that masculine nature that come together in that search, in feeling that lack. And when two energies collide in form into whatever thing is, just think about a tornado. You got hot air and cold air, colliding together. They have, they can't mix and mingle first. They have to whip it around and tear, and get to a point where it's one big thing in order for them to come together, that hot air system and that cold air system. And so when we're thinking about just our human nature, you know, that we are willing to, that my masculine energy is so fearful, and my, you know, and my receptive energy is both so fearful of lack, that I won't be enough, I can't have enough, I can't, this is something that, you know, where, you know, that is there's something that I can't have. Now that has terrified me so much that I open myself up to whatever type of element, and as opposed to just knowing that I'm safe, I'm protected, I'm provided for. But I think that this is one of the things that our growth and evolution is going to help us come out of. I know I stayed on that one a little bit too long. I'm sorry about that.
No, not at all. That was right.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely on point.
The next thing I kind of wanted us to talk about, where is my paper? You know, this whole concept of angels and demons. What are y'all's thoughts on them? You know, what have you grown up with, or, you know, what have you thought about, or have you ever thought about them, or what?
Not in a long time, okay? Because when I reflect back and think about things that were said when I was a child growing up, and I think that's where a lot of this fear comes from, because as children, we are often told things, scary things, to keep us safe, keep us from harm. You go in there, something's gonna get you. You do that, something's gonna, you know, there's a monster there, you know, and sometimes that is the easiest way, maybe not the best, but the easiest way for a parent to keep their child safe while they momentarily look away. How many times have we heard about a child being snatched when the mother just turned their head to say something to somebody over here, and the child is in the opposite? In other words, the eyes in the back of the head didn't see that child being snatched.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you understand what I'm trying to say? So yeah. A lot of the fears that we have stem from those things that we were taught or told as children to keep us safe. And it takes a lot to dig that out of us, you know, to get rid of those fears that we have been so ingrained with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, also, Miss Harry, a lot of those fears are, you know what I'm saying, they're justified. You know,
yeah.
It doesn't happen to everyone, and God forbid that it does happen to someone. But when it comes to our loved ones, it's a whole different thing on how we as humans think. Again, we are. I always harper back that we are, you know, we are on this 3-dimensional plane. We are on this planet. We're going to react like any animal. You're going to protect your young. You're going to block. You're going to protect your family as much as you can. The difference is we can choose. We are allowed to choose who we can, as individuals, we can choose who we protect, who we bind with, who we compare to, who we link with, and build those type of symbiotic relationships. But you're always fearful of your loved ones. You never want any, I mean, just to say,
want any harm to come to them.
Children, but yet and still a time where you were a child and you also thought about the safety of your parents. We've all done that. Like, oh, mom is not home. It's 6:30. 7 o'clock. Where's my mom? Where's my dad? Or, you know, we have that fear because we have that love in us as well. So that it's that balance again, where you have to balance yourself and understanding that you're not completely in control of everything, and we cannot be completely in control of everything, but what we can do is have that faith and strength that everything is okay, especially if you know this person is not in a negative point of view.
Okay, so what do you think about angels and demons? Do you think that angels are real, demons are real, or are they, what are your thoughts on angels and demons?
I take me personally, I take it from a point of view that yes, there something before us, something that is still here as an energy and does build off of us collectively. Yes. So I believe in both. If you're strong enough and you have enough either positive or negative energy, you can manifest either one.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Andre. But how I see it is, I can look at Penny and I see an angel. I can look at somebody else and I can see a demon. It's all in how I, or maybe anybody else, will perceive an individual or a situation. I think, perception has a lot to do with it.
Well, I have seen an angel and I have seen a demon, as entities.
When you say entities, you mean in physical form?
In physical form, yes. And it's just like anything else. I mean, I can't convince you that I actually saw them. I can describe them. I can tell you my experience, but it's not like I can, I see them all the time, but I know that I have seen an angel and I have seen a demon that were, just minding their own business, really. They didn't seem to, they weren't chasing me or bothering me, but my eyes were open and I saw a physical form. The angel that I saw was, did not look like what I would call an angel. It just looked like a regular person. And I couldn't recognize or feel out a race or description, but it did seem to be male, fine male. If we talking, since we talking, but I didn't see anything that matched with. It was just the feeling of the energy and the look that I received from that entity that let me know that it was loving and kind. And that was, I was get in both of these, I was older. Like in my 20s. And the time I saw the demon, it was, I was just driving down the road and there was this demon that was sitting on the back of this lady's Volvo. He was just sitting there. And it was, I can't really describe the color of it, although it was kind of like, it was this, its skin its skin was like clothes. It was like a crocodile, you know.
Hmm.
So, but they looked like clothes, you know. So it wasn't naked, you know, but and it saw me too. And it just looked at me and was just sitting there on the back of her car, this lady's Volvo, with his legs crossed, just riding down the road with her. And I said, well, you have to stay over there. And all it did was just roll his eyes at me and looked in another direction. And I said, wow, that was trippy. You know, but those are so, but when you think about these things as energies, in both of the situations, the entity was really like around others, you know, or, you know, it wasn't like I was in the room or somewhere, you know, praying or on my own or by myself. You know, I was just out living life, and these things just happened at the same time. So what made these energies available to see at that time? And are they always here? Are they always here? And but we just simply can't see them, you know? And so all of that's kind of interesting to me.
Um,
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as far as an entity is concerned, my one and only experience that I can recall is the time when I was about 3-4 years old, when my grandfather died, and I saw this angel come and take him away. But overall, I can look at a human being and see, either, depending on my experience with that individual, I can see either an angel or another person or a demon.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what I'm trying to say, because if that person has done something for me at a time without even knowing it, when I needed that, whatever they have done for me, and it was something that I desperately needed at the time, they didn't know it, but I can see that person as an angel. That individual that has molested me in some fashion, whether it be verbally, physically, or just, try to get into my mind with what we might call evil, then I see that person then I will see that person as a demon. And it probably take a lot of forgiveness to see that person eventually as a human being, but not necessarily an angel.
Mm-hmm. And that's just and so, you know, it's these are some of the things that I think that are good conversations for us to think about. Because, you know, we have always, you know, that's one of the things that, you know, I really want us not to be afraid of anything, not to have fear of any subject, any conversation, any thoughts. Fear limits us in what we in our growth process, I believe.
Fear is a prison.
Yeah. So well, you know, that's it. It's 3:40. So let's do our roundtable real quick. What do we think about today's class, and how can we apply it to our lives?
Well, I can go first. Today's discussion to me was very interesting. It was, I learned things that I had never, or became aware of, I should say, of things that I perhaps already knew and forgotten. And it just, it has opened up a whole different viewpoint of what angels and demons really are. Angels, you know, they can be good here and not so good over there.
Mm-hmm.
Demons can be good here, they can be not so good over there. Or did I say that right? Anyway, you know, you get what I'm trying to say.
We know what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. Oh man. But and what today's session has kind of like I said, it has spiked my curiosity and making me want to, you know, look a little bit more into this whole idea of entities or spirits.
Thank you. Well, I can go next. I think one of the things that I think that I get from these sessions are just how big this spiritual world is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can, right now we're just talking about angels and demons, you know, but these are things that I have heard about all of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Some I have been taught to fear, some I have been taught, in hopes to look for, you know, but and now that I'm also seeing this as energy, and not necessarily from, to heal, how to heal from the inside out. I think that these are very important things to when we think of ourselves as an angelic being. You know, what entity am I what entity am I living at this moment? Am I allowing anger to take over so that I am becoming demonized? I'm allowing negativity and evil to transmit its negativity through my ego, or am I using positive spiritual energy in an angelic frame of mind, so that peace, love, strength, victory, honor, glory is the thing that is emanating from my ego, from my ego self, from my personality. And I think that are challenging ourselves by looking at these types of I don't know, truth from other religions and other aspects and things, is to see that, the whole world is telling the same story over and over and over again. It's the same one over and over and over again. And it's going to really take us to allow ourselves to be strong in it, to have faith in the wholeness of who we are, and not to allow any type of fear or negativity as part of our life. How about you, Andre? What are your thoughts?
Well, you all took the words right out of my mouth. But what I definitely have learned is something that I'm gonna hold on to. That no matter whether it be good or evil, it is an infection. It is something that can be contagious. And however we choose to be around the people that we be around, whether we know that we are around positive and we can take from positive and deal with it, then that's the best way to go. If we know that people have a lot to work on and they bring a negative environment, not themselves, not them as an individual, but just that collective of people that can be around, that is that negative point of view where it's pulling my energy to create a demon.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter. It's the will of fortune at that point in time that we all together, that demon can fall on anybody. And I definitely don't need that demon that you saw on that album. Because you already know me. I don't mind cutting line at the pearly gates. I will move furniture. I will move clouds if I got to go up there over something stupid. So I have really, I really will take heed into that this week to watch the energy and also definitely watch my energy
Mhm.
that I produce around people. I don't want to
Yeah.
affect anyone with my negativity.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Well, that's it on our class on angels today. Does anybody have any questions or comments about the class itself? Or we got one more class on angels. I don't know what it's going to be. So what do we want to talk about next time? Because I don't have my calendar with me. But I do know because we had decided on having five classes on this, so we have one more left. So what do we want to talk about next time?
Um, I would say I want to save that. I want to save that for mine. I want.
Well, we could just do it like a putting it all together type of thing.
Okay.
And do some angel meditations, how to use our angelic energies, how to use, because we have learned that we do have these guardian angels, and they are our servants. They are here to serve us, and you know let's give them something to do. Let's give them some work to do. So why don't we do that for next time? So why don't we we'll do some candle work too. That'll be fun.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do some candle work. So get yourselves a candle, whichever color candle you want, and we'll work from that energy of whatever color that is. Whether it's white candle, black candle, red, green, blue, purple, however, we'll work from that from the energy of the candle.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I'm coming with a spiral birthday candle.
Huh?
Coming with a spiral birthday candle.
Yay, there you go. Well, tomorrow is our Tarot Expo. So come on over. I'm looking forward to it. This is the first time I've done, well, we had a tarot function one time before, and that was kind of fun. So I'm hoping that this will be like the same thing. So we'll see how it is. Hopefully the weather holds out, and we're gonna have a nice day, and we're gonna learn tarot and have great session, great talks on tarot, and good information on tarot. So that'll be I think we're gonna have some fun. Let's see, next week. Like I said, I don't have my candle, so I don't know what we're doing next week. Next week is what, the second Saturday?
Second. Yeah, it'll be the second Saturday and second Sunday.
It's the second Saturday. So second Saturday, you do
oh yeah, the chakras.
Chakras, right?
Yeah.
And I think that following Sunday, I do believe that that's Mother's Day. So we can, it's up to y'all whether we meet Mother's Day. And I don't have a problem. I don't do it. I'm not going to be doing anything. I don't, I try to avoid, that Mother's Day rush to go out to eat and stuff. I never like that. That was
Right.
so fun for me. So, you know, I would rather just be at home and, you know, have somebody cook for me, bring me my plate.
Right.
But that's it's up, so it's up to y'all if y'all want to meet on Mother's Day, and you know, we can, I don't know, we that can I don't know what day, what week that is. Oh, I think we can switch that. We're gonna switch because she was able to do because tarot is usually the second Sunday. So we'll do journal group on that Mother's Day if y'all want to. How about that?
That sounds good.
Okay, we'll do journal group like
Yeah.
we'll do it like that. Okay, so fantastic, groovy, cool. And that's it.
Yeah, that's right. That's the first Sunday, is usually Journal Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. But she was able to meet that first Sunday as opposed to second Sunday because it's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Okay, would anyone like to close us out in prayer, or Harriet, you want to say your thing first, or
Oh, yeah. On YouTube, subscribe, and comment on all of our sessions. And you'll find us on YouTube. Just Google Inner Haven. And when you see the green circle with a white letter I in the middle, that's us.
Thank you. Andre, would you like to close us out in prayer?
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Heavenly Father, once again, thank you for another day. Thank you for the blessings that you've given us. Thank you for a journey through the cosmos to understand your creations and how to balance the power that you have given your greatest creations, which is us on this planet, in this realm, in this time. We ask for you to continue to bless us and overfill us with the abundance of love and magic and determination, and to allow us to use your other entities as our servants and use them well and use them the way that we are supposed to benefit one another, to benefit your creation on this universe. With all these things said, everyone have a good weekend. Peace and blessings.
Peace and
Peace and
blessings.
blessing.
Thank you, everybody. Love you.
Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.